Hi guys, welcome back. Now, earlier on today, I was a little bored. So I think it was yesterday when I reached it. So I was playing around today. I reached out on Reddit yesterday because I was bored and I wanted a challenge, and I wanted to see what things out there people have done, or people couldn't do, in fact, that I wanted to try and tackle. And I had a few suggestions. Some I had to do a little research in, but some were hacks, but which I wasn't aware of. I don't really associate with hacks and stuff like that. But they wanted to see vanilla commands way, so I guess if it's a commands way, then it's a way of doing it yourself in your own world rather than hacking people's servers. So anyway, I didn't really do much of the hacks except one, which was a cool suggestion. Now this one, someone wanted me to try and recreate the kind of the armor stand elevator that you see from Java with shulker boxes. Now that heavily relies on the Falling Sands command, which we don't have. Now I spent a while playing around with some ideas. I used shulkers instead, but they make a hell of a noise when you teleport them into one place. Plus they're very glitchy even when you do teleport them along with an armor stand. And I couldn't quite get them to face the way I wanted. Some would be sideways, some would be... so it wasn't quite how I would want it. So I came up with this. Originally I did have an armor stand, which is why it is raised. But I came up with a way to do it with a minecart. So we've got a cool lift button here, but it's already here anyway. And we can press the button to slowly go up, nice and smoothly. It's quicker on the way down, even though they are essentially the same teleport command. But nice and smooth, slowly on the way up. I'll showcase both the things first, and then I'll go through if you want to stick around to see to see how they were made. Because I can see if I showcase and I've got two things to do, it could be quite a long video. So I keep to showcasing at the start for people who just want to look at it, and then anyone who wants to stick around for the commands can look later. I didn't do much to make this look pretty, so another cool button, but that takes us up, and then this one takes us down, which is much quicker. Now this isn't rely on coordinates, so when you see the commands, if you stay, they will actually, you will see that it's very customizable and you can change it quite easily. So yeah, that was it. If you come up here, the other one, I'll show the cool button. When you press that, it just comes back. All that does is trigger the same as the button down there. I haven't actually put in anything to stop it if it was already here, but that could easily be done. So the next one, which I was quite interested in trying to tackle, was the kind of auto collect. Now I've got a chest full of loads of random items here, and this is just a clone over to that one, because that's the one that's going to be doing it, but this is just so we can fill it up with loads of random items. But if I fill that up, now normally you would have to grab all of these or go around with the controller. It's not too bad. I think it's quicker on controller actually, because you can just keep pressing triangle on PlayStation anyway, or whatever is equivalent on Xbox, and grab all of that. But I've got a quicker way. Press that button and I get given all the items. Now this chest was part of the original content. That's not the chest that got broken, as you probably heard the break sound. I wanted to make sure that when I killed the chest that got dropped when I cleared that. So even if you try and do it, it's gonna run the machine, but it won't break it. But yeah, if I do /clear and say if I grab just some random stuff, just to do it with anything, even chuck that around. obviously with this mechanism I've done, you lose one spot there. So that's now full. Press that, and I get given all the items. So that was my rendition of it anyway. But I'll go through the commands of the first one first. So this is my up mechanism, this is my down. We've got an execute command of the minecart, and I've tagged the minecart with the tag floor 1. Sorry. I was going to try and do a multiple floor, but then I thought you can't stand on them anyway, just like you couldn't stand on the shulker box, which is the other reason, which is the other reason why I didn't use the shulkers. I was going to try and use the boat, but that just looked messy. So I thought one you could sit in, and there's no point having a bit more than one. What it's doing, it's detecting air 2 blocks above it, and then it would teleport itself 1 block, 0.1 block up. So this is the up. So that means, because what happens is when you activate it, it places redstone block here. This also, what does this do? This sets the block, its own block to air, so that removes, because when it comes down, I'll call it down, you'll see that there it will be on a rail, and I did that so you couldn't accidentally push the minecart out of the system and then break it. So it clears that, because that is actually in its own block, it's not underneath it. The block underneath it is the stone. So it'll keep teleporting itself until it finds at the very top a stone block 2 blocks above it, and then it will trigger off the rest of the system. So this is constantly executing because it's a conditional, but once it detects stone, it will set 1 block underneath it to stone, and then when it does that same thing again, it will set its own block to a golden rail 1 for the rail sideways so it doesn't get pushed off. And then it will clear the air from here. It clear the redstone block from here to stop the machine. So yeah, that's pretty much the up mechanism. So the down works a little bit different. So this would be set with redstone block. When you press the down button, it will fill from itself to 1 below underneath it, so it clear that stone and gold block that it just placed when you went up. And then executing, detecting air 0.1 blocks underneath it. I did try 0.1, but when it got down to the bottom, it triggered everything too early, and it was not as smooth as I wanted it. So detects air underneath it and then teleports it. So there's the same mechanics and the same idea as when I did the up. And then from that, when it detects stone, it will set. I did it just before. I didn't do it 0.1. I did 0.3, so I had a bit of time to kind of react. Then it will set block golden rail. Because that stone underneath it doesn't change. That doesn't get cleared like the other one. So we only need to set block to the golden rail. And then what this does is just activates because this will constantly be working. As soon as this stops working, then it knows it's finished, so it will just invert the signal and then set this block to air to stop the system. So that's pretty much it for that one. Now this mechanism, this was quite fun to do, and to try and find a way to quickly pick up all the items. What it's doing when I clear my inventory is it's constantly replacing the item, well, it's not constantly, because it's got this keep here, so it's doing a replace item for the block. Those are coordinates, the container 26, which is the last 27th block because it starts from 0. Barrier 1, but it's got this keep mode, so this would only work when there's nothing there. So none of these commands will run until you pick up that and remove that barrier, because then it's got air to replace it with. So then what it does is, in a conditional, the rest are conditional, sorry, is it clears the barrier from a radius of 5 of the... I could probably pull this up a little bit, because if I went to the maximum kind of reach, I think it's 6 blocks, so it probably wouldn't run if I try to do it there. So I might need I didn't do some major I did as much testing, but I didn't do range testing, but 5 or 6 should be enough. So it clears the barrier from you. Then when it detects that, all the conditionals run in, so it sets the chest to air, destroy, so it drops all of its blocks, kills the chest, that gets dropped, sets the block as chest, sorry, because the items will technically still be there, but it will happen so quickly. Then it kills the chest item it dropped, but only 1 in this area, because I don't want it to kill all items named chest, which is the reason why I put 1 in the test. Then it kills an item which is named barrier, just in case it replaced another. I think it does quickly replace the barrier before it destroys the chest, so it kills any barriers that get dropped. And then it teleports all the items to the closest player. So, and you could refine that a bit within a radius, but the person here activating it should be the closest player. But this is just a little bit of fun that I was doing. You could use this in Worlds. I don't know whether it would be useful, but it was a challenge which I accepted. Hopefully I have done you proud. So thank you very much for watching. And I shall see you again soon for another command video.